We are reading The Year of Miss Agnes by Kirkpatrick Hill. We're on chapter 9 and 10. In November, little Pete had to go to the trapline with his grandpa and his dad and his uncles. Little Petey's Auntie Bertie usually went winter camping with them and did all the cooking. Little Pete's mom was dead, that's why. A long time ago, when little Pete was just born, they had measles in our old village of Dolby. Those measles killed a lot of people, mostly the old people and babies, but little Pete's mom died then. Big Bernie, we always called his aunt. She was really big, like little Pete, and could do anything a man could do. Once she even made a cabin by herself, 8 logs high, Grandpa said, and it was a good one, too. Usually little Pete was dying to get out of camp as soon as it snowed. He really liked it out there at their camp because he liked being out in the woods. But he didn't really want to go this year because school was so interesting and Miss Agnes was there. Most of all, he didn't want to miss the end of Robin Hood. He wasn't good enough at reading to read it for himself, so Miss Agnes read extra long the last day he was in school, and we finished the book. So little Pete was glad of that, and Miss Agnes gave him a little notebook and told him to write in it every day so he wouldn't forget all that he'd learned about printing nicely. A few weeks later, Roger went to camp too. Roger's family was very big. There were 9 kids altogether, and he was the only one still going to school. The oldest ones hadn't gone very much, and there were little ones who didn't go to school yet. The twins were 4, and Frankie was 2 years old, and there was a new one, the baby Liza. There was a lot of hoorah in the village when the Rogers family got ready to go, because they were taking 3 dog teams. We all stood out in the street at recess time and watched them leave. All the dogs in town were barking and pulling at their chains, wishing they could go too. Roger's oldest brother was loading up the freight sled Roger was going to drive, and those dogs were just jerking in their harnesses and barking, wanting to get out on the trail. Roger was standing on the brake with both feet, and he could just barely keep the dogs from moving the sled. It was funny to watch. The sleds were piled high with bales of dried dogfish and food and all the stuff they needed at camp. They didn't tie it down real carefully the way most people did. It was kind of thrown in there. They were a happy family, happy-go-lucky. Nearly every day, some other family would go off to the winter camp, and the village was getting emptier and emptier. Soon, Marie Solomon had to stay home from school to take care of the kids because her mom was going to help her dad trap. Miss Agnes told Marie to come to her cabinet at night, and they could keep up their reading together. Marie was always having to stay with those kids. Her mom had one nearly every year, and there was another one coming. I knew there were 2 still in diapers because I helped Marie hang out the washing when I had time. I liked to help Marie because she was always so happy. She had to do the wash every day in the old gas washer just to keep up with the diapers. That took a lot of water. We had to melt snow to get water in the winter. Sometimes Grandpa and the other men would cut big chunks of ice from the lake behind the village too. Ice makes lots more water than snow. In the summer, we all got water from the river. And Marie had to cook meals for all those kids when her folks were gone and make bread. It was a lot of work. Still, she had time to curl her hair in those rods she had from Sears' catalog, and she made it look like in the magazines, turning back away from her face. And she always kept that house clean, too. The floor was always swept. My grandma thought she was a really good girl. She was just proud of her. But Mama didn't think much of Marie because she was always singing on the radio when you came into that house. Mama thought work was too serious for singing. And because Marie was always the one who danced most and the longest when we had a dance. All of Roger's big brothers and whoever was there from some other villages, they all wanted to dance with Marie. That made Mama look sour when that happened. Miss Agnes didn't like Marie having to take care of all those kids by herself. I could tell. You need to know how to read and write to get along in life, Miss Agnes said to Marie. But I could tell Marie thought she already knew how to do everything she needed to know to get along in life. She was proud she could do everything a woman was supposed to do. I think Miss Agnes worried about Marie because she didn't learn fast, or maybe because Marie was so good-natured she'd do what anybody said. Anyway, she kept Marie at it, even if she wasn't coming to school with us. Marie wasn't the only one. Plasker's father came to Miss Agnes's cabin sometimes at night, and she helped him learn to read and write. And even old man Toby came to learn to write his name. Miss Agnes didn't think school was just for kids. You have to keep learning all your life, she said. That was a good thing to think about, always learning something new. It wasn't like you had to hurry up and learn everything right away before the learning time was over. It was like you could kind of relax and take your time and enjoy it. Chapter 10. There were a lot of different things we did in school with Miss Agnes that were fun. More fun than we ever had in school before. She had a little squeeze box like some of the old miners had. A concertina, hers was called. Theirs were bigger and square. Hers was little and sort of round with straight edges. She told us, but I forgot what you call that shape. Sometimes, any old time of day, we never could tell when, she'd take it out of its little case and we'd sing. She taught us Polly Wolly Doodle and Barbary Allen and Loch Lomond and a million other songs. We'd ask her for the new songs we heard on the radio, and we'd sing them for her, and she'd play those too. She was really good at "Hey, good looking" and stuff like that. She'd put Bobco's hand on the squeeze box while she played, and Bobco could feel the music like. Sometimes at night and on weekends, we have music and dancing in the community hall. Different times, like somebody's birthday or when everybody came in from beaver trapping. Or a potlatch. That's what we had for someone who died. There were 2 or 3 nights of dances with a potlatch. Martin Olin always played for the dances. He has this violin he ordered from Sears, a really good one, and he could play like anything. Hog River Dan has a steel guitar, and Bobby Kennedy has a mandolin, and they all sound really good together. Martin has this one song, Cindy, that he always plays on the violin. It's so happy, and no one can sit still, and everyone will dance. And they'll dance so hard that the dust comes up from the floorboards in puffs, like it's keeping time with the music. Even all us kids dance, and Charlie Boy is the best of all. And all the old ladies like to dance with Charlie Boy because he's so lively. Bako can dance just like anyone because she feels the music in her feet somehow. Mama dances too, and sometimes she even smiles and laughs a little. Then she looks young almost. Almost everyone has a best song that they sing if the dance goes on long enough. Martha always sings, "I'm so lonesome I could cry," and she makes her voice just whiny like Hank Williams on the record. And so sad. It's really good the way she sings that. This is how it is at a dance. The men line up on one side of the wall and the women line up on the other. When a man wants to dance, he comes over and just kicks a woman on a leg, just a little bit, to show he wants to dance with her. And when they dance, then they dance, and then there's a circle when everyone walks around with his partner around the room. And then they play another song and you dance again. That way you dance twice with the same person. Grandma says that's the way they learned it from the old miners who came into the country when she was a girl. That's how everyone learned to play the guitar and stuff, from those old timers and from listening to the radio. When we had a dance, we'd go get Miss Agnes and she'd bring her squeeze box. And that way she could play and the guys who were doing the music could have a turn to dance. Boy, she knew some good ones too. Ones she never played us in school because they didn't have words to sing. They were just like Martin's song. You couldn't sit still. But Miss Agnes would never dance. She'd just watch us and laugh.